Yes, yes.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm alive.
Tin, tin, tin,
Good
tin.
to see you guys.
Good to see you, Master Team. I will be your translator, but I will only translate the questions so you can freely speak, and then I translate the answers.
Absolutely. Hopefully, I have some good stuff for you.
I know, we know, man. Jhon, dale. Dice que espera tener buen material y yo sé que sí.
Por supuesto. Yo quiero iniciarte con un filme que yo sé que fue uno de los mejores de los 90 que se llama Chow Bella. Chow Bella es considerada como un tesoro que muchos se encuentran perdidos, pero no. Si uno sabe dónde está el mapa, ahí lo encontramos a los que amamos el tema de la edición, amamos el cine que tú realizas. Yo quiero saber bajo qué aspectos usted pudo identificar para que la autocrítica del cine sea más bien más valorada en la edición, porque sabemos de que es una de las historias que muy pocos conocen más de tu trabajo, que es los inicios.
Y le agregaré algo. Okay, we're going bad early in your career with the editing of Chow Bella. Jhon feel that this movie really deserves and needs more recognition. And we want to ask, because I got also a question, what aspects, I don't know, I hope I can understand the question from Johnny, in what aspects it must improve the critics and the autocritics, the critics that you do for yourself, to in the subject of edition of movies. And I want to add something because it's crazy. In the IMDb, they talk about your beginnings as an assistant director and how was that process, man, being starting in great movies, then becoming you the main editor with Chow Bella and coming now in which you are now, man.
Yeah. Well, I get your question, and I'll lead you right into Chow Bella. But it really began when I began as an assistant editor. I was so lucky. I got in the union, and I worked for Peter Zinner, who edited The Godfather, two of The Godfathers, and Deer Hunter, and and lots of. I worked on a TV movie with Mike Hill and Dan Hanley, and they were TV movie editors, and they taught me everything, and the very next movie they did was Night Shift with Ron Howard. So all these people were really great teachers, and I worked hard with them, and I learned, and I got breaks working early as an assistant for an editor named Raja Ghazanel, who became a phenomenal editor. He did both Home Alones and Mrs. Doubtfire, and then went on to a terrific directing career. A fabulous person. So we worked with Chris Columbus on a thing called Heartbreak Hotel back in like 87. And Chris, he was so talented and wanted a hit, but it was a tough movie, and Disney really pushed them around, and we worked so hard. After that, I was lucky to meet John Hughes and work on Uncle Buck. And see, there was a synergy in the life that I was leading, and each was a piece to a puzzle. And when I was started on Uncle Buck, Chris Columbus was in town meeting with John about Home Alone. So after Uncle Buck, we went into the Home Alone franchises, and those were terrific movies to work on. Very difficult because of the amount of film shot and many days shooting, long schedules. And, lucky to have these guys as a foundation. John Hughes ran an empire, but he was very, very peaceful, quiet man. He liked to work the wee hours. And back then you had to work all day because you're working with lots of film. But John, he liked to come in late and tell jokes and do pranks. And So in that era, we were all sort of in the same, having a lot of fun making the movies. And then, you know, you want to edit, but you're really successful assisting, and you get bumped up, and you're working as second editor, but you want to cut that picture yourself because you want to be the man. And so I was working on a Ron Howard picture, assisting, I think Apollo 13 probably, and Brian Grazier's brother is Gavin Grazier, and Gavin directed Chow Bella. Gavin is hysterical, man. He really very funny guy, and ended up acting quite a bit in some movies himself. And his career never really took off. I think he got pushed around a bit, but Chow Bella was a special movie, and Rhino put it out. Very quirky, had a lot of good energy, and I'm surprised you guys even remember that movie.
I will get a great time when I've been translating. It was amazing listening to all these legends. And by the way, you talk about Apollo 13. We got early in our channel to the amazing Sander Berkeley. So wow, man. Yes, no man. You for me, Jhon and myself, we are blessed and happy to have you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, but we will continue. Jhon, me voy a dar el mejor tiempo de mi vida traduciendo.
Ya.
De hecho, yo quiero preguntarle, no solo hablamos de Chow Bella, sino hablamos de canyons. O sea, a ver, ¿cómo es posible? Yo cuando vi la película, yo dije, what the fuck, man? O sea, ¿cómo es posible? ¿Cómo se desarrolla ese rol como editor de una historia que da un juego mental, que da como competir como en la mente? En serio me estaba causando dolor de cabeza, porque yo, mire, o estaba, o que apagaba el televisor, o que insultaba a Tim, pero dije, no. O sea, yo quisiera decirle, ¿cómo usted se puede implementar, bajo qué características para que eso quede como una incógnita? Porque hasta el sol de hoy a mí me parece una incógnita, pero igual, les soy sincero, excelente.
No, y yo me meto ahí porque le quería preguntar algo sobre las películas de mis favoritas. Okay, Dean, this is a crazy question.
Yeah.
Because, it's from us because we really enjoy the canyons.
Yeah.
And we know that you are like a double, let's not say offender because you're an offender, but you edited and you are the associated producer. And it's crazy because Jhon tell me something that I agree. When he watched it, I watched it, we were like, oh my God, the editor must be crazy because it's like a puzzle and my head hurts, but I cannot stop watch that movie. And in fact, Jhon and myself ended and we still with questions, but we like this game. And by the way, the aspect, oh man, another movie that really needs more recognition. All the people that told trash about Lindsay Lohan should be watch this movie.
Oh, I know.
And these amazing Castellos, man, for us, it's like a hidden gem from Bad Years.
Yeah, that movie is a special movie, and it was reviewed poorly because Hollywood is it is vindictive, and they wanted to kill Lindsay Lohan because she was no longer their golden girl. So that was that. But Paul Schrader. This is the man is he's the most intelligent filmmaker existing. He has things going on up here, and when you're working with him, you become smarter. It's like you learn things. His intelligence raises your intelligence, and that was our second picture together to do the canyons, and that was a dream movie because it was a small budget, and we were forced into Paul and I shared an office, his office and an editing room. And then we shot in the whole building. Most of the movie was shot there. And so Lindsay Lohan is there, all the actors, everything, camera. And,
Those Manson is in there. That's crazy.
it was great. And then I had a little part in the movie. Paul would just come in. He's shooting the scene already. He says, come on in, you're going to do this. I said, what am I doing? He goes, what do I say? He says, you're bickering with her. Just say something. So you just sit there and watch the scene, and then you chime in, do the little thing. And, but you see, Paul, what is special about this movie is Schrader has these, he is like an artist that everything happens here in the head, and he plans it all. So when he's done shooting, he's ready to see his picture the way he wants to see it. And he's prepared. He's always prepared. The cutting in the opening of the canyons, he wants everyone to feel uncomfortable, like something's wrong. So he wanted the James Dean, you needed to hear him and see the other faces first. And then when you looked at James Dean, he was going to break the line and look at you straight into the camera and talk, which, they tell you don't do. But Paul was all about breaking the rules that he had followed all these years as a film student. And so he wanted to throw all that out the window. And he said, he's going to look through the camera and you need to hold on this. So he has all these great ideas about, you might think this scene, end it, boom, right here. I thought, end this scene here, right? And Paul will say, no. Why don't we let this scene play in 10 more seconds? Way long. Let's see if they want to just watch that thing. And then he would be right about stuff like this. It was terrific mind. Much like John Hughes, too. These both very Midwestern men. They wrote completely different types of movies. One is this kiddie comedies, and one is this dark affliction and Taxi Driver. They were the same type of people. They were both prolific writers, and they both were very they have children living in them. And I always wished, John died. I had wished they could have met and become friends. And I wonder what that movie would have been like if they could have produced something together, because unique talents. Schrader has the ability to write all the time. He uses it as a tool to free himself of his own agonies and depressions and stuff. And so he trained himself to do this. And no matter what, in the darkest times and stuff, he's writing. Fantastic.
And let's say it, Hollywood got something together against Schrader. How much the guy that made Horses and Canyons, but right,
American Gigolo.
I can believe the car counter. I don't know how the car counter and how First Eternal Wars were ignored. And the crazy thing about the canyons is it's like a dream team from writers, because Bret Easton Ellis right now, man, Hollywood.
Oh yeah. And, he's like Bret Easton Ellis is so, at Los Angeles, and so like the jaded party boy, but he's a terrific writer. And, it was interesting to be in that group of people. We had to do everything small and pay for facilities, and kind of it was like making movies in the 1960s again, just running around with a small pack of the guys. And it was a very tight-knit group. And we were able to pull that thing off. And as time's passed now, people starting to say, hey, that's not a bad picture. For me, Johnny, I really wanted to do art house, like an art house picture. And the Canyons definitely satisfies that in me, And, Schrader, we worked on Dominion. So what happened on Dominion, Prequel to The Exorcist, is the studio fired Paul for his behavior and his angst. And they were away in Morocco and they didn't like his picture. And then they hired Rennie Harlan to shoot the same movie, same script. They went and he shot it. That movie released, and it was pretty bad. called me, say, can you finish Paul's picture? We don't want him back. Just finish cutting, complete it, and we'll color time it, and we're just going to put it out. Alan Smythe, directed by, and his name will be off it. They say, go see Rennie's movie and tell us what you think. So I go see Rennie's movie on the weekend. I watched dailies and what was cut of Paul's movie. Oh my God, Rennie is terrible, right? So Paul's movie, Vittorio Storaro, shot it in his special supervision, Univision, unbelievably beautiful. I mean, the man, and it was mounted like an epic, and it was beautiful. So I said to them, I said, is it worth it to release? Why don't you bring Paul back? What can we bring back? So the bean counter, he says to me, here's his number, call him, maybe he'll come back. I call Paul, and right away he goes, oh, no shit. He came back, he came the next week. We went back to the studio and we started cutting, but they were after him. And Paul doesn't duck or hide. He tells people how he feels about things. And he earned the right to be that way. He has a gut feeling for his movies, and he sticks by his concepts and ideas. And you really have to do that when you're dealing with studios, because too many people in the notes meddling can, just pull the picture apart. So Paul's a fighter. No. And sometimes they tell him, get the hell out.
That moment was beautiful because we were going to ask about Dominion, and man, it's unfair because now people, I remember last year when people talk about the case Whedon and about the Justice League, and they my God, and of course I love how all ended up, but this case. I want to talk to, okay, I am in my 30s to the 20s, or no, but what happened with Dominion? This is another case of another director trashing another movie, and I got nothing against Rennie. Sometimes I enjoy his movies, but but it's the vision of the artist where Paul and man, I will just
and they kind of became a time in Hollywood where the accountants and the producers say to the directors, no more. We're running the show. And Paul is pretty much an auteur in film. And this is why he's moved towards these smaller projects where he can handle. But Jhon, the greatest thing that came out of Dominion, and my intention was, only to get Paul to where he can make another picture, where we can make the Canyons, because it looked like they were going to squash him. And careers do end. And, I think he had a 4 or 5 year drought after that movie where he wasn't directing. So, one of the great privileges in my life is to see First Reformed, to know that Paul made it, because, he's a fragile person because he has all the foibles like we do, depression and angst and stuff, yet he's forged on. And to see him performing like he's doing now, he's 75 years old. I'm very proud of him. Yeah.
We were talking, Jhon, myself, with Ira Fronten. She's an actress from House of Gucci. And we were telling them, when actors from the 70s, Ridley, Paul, Marty, they are doing their work. Oh my God, let them do their work, because when they die, those directors and those type of movies, their work go away. And it's crazy because you see First Reform, and it's like watching a movie from, I don't know, an art house cinema from Sweden, and we say, but that's Hollywood. Oh, man. Jhon, we will continue, pero Jhon, vas a morir, man. Nos dijo todo lo de Dominion.
Eso para mí es oro puro porque créame que es el día más feliz de la noche y el día
Dale, dale.
All right, Jhon. I'm glad, man.
también voy a hablar sobre un filme que la verdad sí se me explotó la cabeza, que es El ocaso de la luz. Bueno, o sea, ahora en inglés todo, yo sí me sentí sudoroso, yo dije, me dio tristeza a la vez, pero a la vez me dio como un fresquito con la venganza, pero yo quiero saber cómo fue, mejor dicho, qué preparación usted tuvo, bajo qué información o estándares pudo retratar la enfermedad de la demencia en aquella historia. O sea, cómo un filme de edición puede estar dentro de la mente de esa persona, actuar como tal, porque yo me sentí como que se me olvidaron cosas cuando vi el filme, pero yo dije, ¿cómo es la creación y edición de la historia?
No, y yo voy a meter más porque yo amo esa película. Man, another movie that we feel that there are people without taste. We really love the Dying of Life. And John got a question, and I got another
Yeah,
question.
okay.
Like the question from John is,
Yeah.
and he's right, because yes, we we were like caged watching the movie. We were like, we feel tense. We feel tense.
Yeah.
How do you manage as a editor doing this? And by the way, this is a true or fiction? Is there like a director's cut from this movie?
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
there,
man.
Yeah, ve que sí,
yeah,
John.
yeah,
Yo.
there's a first Schrader cut for sure. Yeah. It was, one of these things, man. Paulie calls me, he says, you want to go to Bucharest, Romania, and make this movie, Dying of the Light. Now, I say, oh, man, I like that title. I like it. I want to do it. I want to do it. So, oh, man, I fly into a blizzard. I mean, these are like 16 inches of snow, and Romania is far, man.
By the way, that chase on the snow, I freaking feel the
Oh,
coldness.
man. Buddy, I am glad you like that because Paul and I spent most of our time cutting that thing. It just like he felt like it never worked. It was a tough picture because what happened was Paul got off to a bad start with one of the producers. And one night they're shooting on this big bridge and Paul needed something and the guy said no to him for like the fifth time. So Paul started calling him Dr. No. And then he said to him, I don't want you on the set anymore. He banished him. Well, after that, things started kind of getting a little funky over there in Romania. But yeah, I was there like 3 days. So Paul said, he calls, he says, you got to play this part. And I said, man, so kind of busy. But he's like, yeah, well, you could do this. We need you. You could do this. You're Mike Walker. I said, all right, I don't even know what the part is. I said, I'll do it because it's a challenge, So then I get the script out. I'm like, okay, where is this part? Well, damn, it was like 3 pages of dialogue. All this stuff about metals and stars. And I was like, oh man. But the actors that were in the movie, they came and they helped me run lines at night. And Paul comes the night before. He says to me, he goes, you better be ready. He goes, because Nick, he don't like people that are unprepared. He says, just, you better. I go, I'm going to be fine. Don't worry about it, man. So like, dude, and you know how it is, right? Like your anxiety starts ratcheting up and, hell yeah, I acted in Doubtfire. These are little roles, canyons. You do these little things, but this one was like for real. Like, I'm gonna have to like be in front of the cameras and like I'm the man in that shot. So, like, how am I gonna do? I'll just go with it. I figure I can do it. But like it's like 4 a.m. and I'm in this van driving in the outskirts of Bucharest. And this Italian makeup lady, she's so sweet. She's in the back, but she's just like, boom, 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 boom. The whole way she's talking to me about, and I was like, I was like, oh damn, you know. And then all of a sudden we're there, and it's like 5:30 in the morning, you know, and it's like, yeah, you know, in the middle of the woods. And by the way, this area we're in is where like the Nazis marched and stuff. This is like it's a dark neighborhood, and there's Paul and everybody, and the cameras are all set up, and Nick comes over. He's like, "Oh, I heard you're multi-talented," and I said, "Oh, I don't know about that, buddy. Let's just see how it goes." And you know, so automatically, then you just like, "Okay, there's your mark over there. Go." I said to him, I said, "Hey, Nick," I said, "You got any advice, man? Because you know, I'm a little nervous here." He said, "I'll tell you what they told me." He says, "Easy peasy lemon squeezy." I said, "Easy peasy lemon squeezy." That was it, dude. So then you just get up there, you know, and you just like, now that's, you know, so that's Nick, my boy now, Nick Cage, you know, I'm like hanging out with him in the woods in Bucharest. And then it was just like that, you know, he helped me a lot because he's so, you know, this was, dude could have just rolled out of bed and done this. But he just helped me. He's take it easy. And then when I screwed up once, and damn, man, don't worry about it. Come on, we'll go do another one. And we'll do another one. And then it was over like that. The other one, the one part, the one where the opening scene where I had to do all the lines, that was a little tougher. But you know, you buckle down and you learn your lines, and you just buck up, and you just become a pro at that time. And scared shitless.
And everything about this movie is crazy. I mean, we got Need, of course, rest in peace, Anton Yelchin. And it's crazy because I didn't know that Nicholas Wonderwright was the producer. I was like, what?
Yeah.
All these people and how the hell fail. Oh man. And by the way, I sometimes people criticize Need. Need is on top on this movie. I really feel that he was, I don't know. Anymore.
He's always bringing something, Cage, you know, and you know, he's an absurdist, obviously. He will take a role, you know, he usually takes these roles that will be complete crap if he doesn't make them bizarre. And so he makes the movies better, but I mean, he's really stepping into a territory now where you're going to see Nick Cage where he belongs. And, you know, he's going to have a huge comeback.
Is that this movie was the step for him later doing Mandy and Pete? But no, man, I say something. If I don't consider it worse, but when they say this is the worst Cage, it's always amazing because there is no actors like him. I mean, there is not. He's a legend.
No, he gets that crazy going, you know, and it's great. There's not a lot of guys like him. And, you know, the thing is, he does a lot of movies, and he needed money for a while, so he's just doing movie after movie after movie. And that's okay, you know? He's still a real artist, a true artist.
No es por nada, pero yo estoy aprendiendo en edición mucho más gracias a usted, pero créame que yo he visto, desde mi punto de vista como editor, siento que usted a todos los personajes los hace ver magnéticos. Así no sea el más maníaco, pero Nicolas Cage, en vez de parecer una humilde persona, resultó siendo magnético. Yo pensé que iba a matar al jefe, perdóname ahí, en el caso de la luz, y con Lindsay Lohan también.
No, y tengo que decirle, Jhon said something, it's funny in Spanish, believe me, it's funny in English. He said that, how do you make, as an editor, to loot psycho every actor? I mean, he felt, spoiler, he really felt that Need was going to kill that guy in the movie, and he really feels that Lindsay Lohan will become like a guaco killer a la Preston Ellis. And by the way, I want to tell you something. It's crazy because, oh man, you, of course, all the team from Dominion were one of the first that really showcased how amazing is Stellan Skarsgård, man. And now we watch Stellan. For me, Stellan is so underrated as an actor, man.
Oh, Dominion, he mounted this as an epic. Oh, they spent $50 million shooting that movie. Oh, Stellan Skarsgård, and you know, but it became vindictive. They just wanted to get Paul, you know. And after that movie, they brought me back to recut behind the backs of the producers of the people that were making was the Good Shepherd. I did the European version, so it came from 2:35 down to about 2 hours.
The De Niro movie?
Yeah, the Good Shepherd.
Yes, the one that De Niro
directed. De Niro
with Matt Damon. Oh, another movie that movie was beautiful, man.
It was, and he played the European version. I could play better because 25 minutes out, and we put camera clicks in when you saw the pictures being taken, because they kind of tucked everything under in the original 225. It was hard to track, so we tracked it a little better. But that was a difficult place to work. Morgan Creek, Warner Brothers, and I having Paul there and working with him at that time, though, it was probably one of the best periods. Dude, you guys, Johnny, Andres, I've been blessed, mainly blessed in my profession, because I've somehow manifested people to work with great people. Now I work with a actor director, Max Martini. He's now starring in The Tender Bar, directed by George Clooney. Great role. He plays the voice, but he's a terrific director. We did a movie called Sergeant Will Gardner, and he plays the lead, and also he directed. And so we're hoping to get a picture going this summer. Redundant Force. Yeah.
No, in fact, I will tell you. No, and by the way, man, I'm the translator, but we became with Jhon like partners in crime.
Good.
And I love how this he's a student in the university, and he calls me. He met me. Do you wanna translate? Because we got another translator that left.
Yeah.
Sure. And when I see how he made this channel, still a small channel for a CD, because we live in the border with Venezuela and Cucuta. We don't got movie schools, like an educational project, and how this project was growing to have people like you here, man. For me, that's amazing. I will say thank you, man. Jhon, es que nos está diciendo que él nunca se sentía, o sea, se está sintiendo muy cómodo en la entrevista porque él nunca había hablado de estos proyectos. Yo le de la naturaleza del canal, y yo le, in fact, what I love about this channel is that we don't care about the gossip. All the guests, we only focus on the job, how they do their job. And man, you will watch the channel. This crazy, man. We got people from B movies that we also love.
Yeah.
We got people from that had been working as an extras, people from the adult industry.
I love what you guys are doing. And I have to say, Jhon, your questions are excellent. You're super educated, intelligent man. And if you don't have a film school, you're probably going to be starting one. Great jobs, and I look forward. I did watch some of the interviews with that really great actor from these TV series. I forget his name, but he's very well known.
From what series?
It was one the LA series about he played a very rich writer.
Jhon, él dice que vio una entrevista con un actor que hicimos, que sale en una serie donde interpreta a un escritor millonario, pero es de una serie de niños. ¿Cuál será?
Una serie de niños.
No es Rudy, ¿no?
He was the one.
Yeah, we will edit this.
No
será the one where the guy's a wild man in LA and he runs around. He's a writer in LA, and he's sort of a maniac, getting drunk and throwing parties and.
Jhon, creo que es great porque es la de un escritor que es ebrio en Los Ángeles y hace fiestas y todo.
Yeah, well, that was good.
Well, we will when this ends, we will search for an interview so we can remember. Don't worry.
Yeah, that was very good. And anything Jhon, I could do for you guys, if you need any information, help with anything, you let me know. And when I'm in your neck of the woods, I'll be visiting. Say
Thank
hello.
you, man. But the great thing is that I don't know if you know, Jhon is making a thesis, so he will include your testimony about the exorcist in the thesis. Yes?
Oh, thank you, Jhon. Great.
Yes!
And anything you need on Exorcist, let me know, because I know some people that there's a guy that has a book coming out with tons of information. I could talk to him, but anything follow up if you need any more information on Exorcist, write me an email, call me, whatever.
I will tell you something. I don't know if this will come out in the interview. I am talking with two guys that do horror movie festival in Colombia and Venezuela, and the festival grew up. I don't know if they can showcase them the movie, but if I want to talk to them. Jhon dice que nos da libertad cualquier cosa que le queramos pedir del exorcista, que tú puedes incluir en la tesis y que ojalá armemos una escuela de cine, lo dice. No, Jhon. Continuemos, you know, we will continue of, you know, we are going to start to cry. So.
Sabemos que en esta película, la última que has editado, que sabemos la masacre de los zombies de medianoche de los hermanos Mason, oh man, yo quisiera saber, esos zombies, ¿cómo lo hizo? O sea,
no, ¿quiere que le diga algo lindo?
No, pero la edición, la edición tal es como que ojalá, y mire, yo que he estado esperando el apocalipsis zombie, veo esta película y ya no quiero zombies. Y de hecho, quiero decirle, no sé si hay alguna referencia en esa película a Durango Kids, en el enfrentamiento.
Y te voy a decir algo bonito, porque ahorita nos habló, yo creo que sería bueno que nos hable más. Dice que le gusta mucho ese trabajo que hizo Sergeant Will Gardner, man, que es uno de los proyectos. Yeah. Okay, as a final, we will start from the thing that you tell us about Sergeant Will Gardner, that you want to talk about more about this project, go ahead. But as a final, tell us about this and about the Manson Brothers Midnight Zombie Massacre, because when Jhon saw something about the movie, he said, I wanted the zombie apocalypse. Now I don't want it because these zombies scared the crap out of me. I don't want more. And it's crazy because we want to tell you something. In this channel, we are making like, it happens. We are making like an memorabilia from zombies. We got people from The Walking Dead, the Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I saw that.
Tell us, man, about this project. And yes, Jhon wants to know if that movie got a reference from Durango Kids.
Oh, Durango Kids. Oh, Durango Kids was good. He was good. These people wanted to make this movie, man, and they had the money, right? And so he made it, and it was a wonderful picture. Everything, you know, he trusted me, this guy. He made one picture and he got out of the business and he sold it. He made good money. But when we needed stuff, he said, how could this picture play better? I said, well, we could have a high shot of the choo-choo train running along the mountain. So he goes out and he rents a helicopter and he rents the train and he shoots it. The father owned an insurance company and fifth biggest in the country. So he had money and he knew if he spent it wisely, and it turned out good. But okay, so Sergeant Will Gardner, that's a labor of love. We worked so hard. We locked ourselves in, and he's one of those pictures. It's so well acted. He pulls you in, and the editing's easy because you're only kind of dancing with it, you know. It's just telling me, because movies, when you're editing, eventually it starts to tell you what it is. Then you're following a path, you know. It's like this always, you know. It's the hand of God. You hope that you tap into that, but and you know that picture did pretty good, and then Manson Brothers. So Manson Brothers is just, you know, it's a comedic creep show, zombie massacre. I mean, the Manson Brothers, it's just a laugh riot, and unfortunately, you know, it got a release through a company. They don't put money in advertising. They put the money out, and they put the picture out on, you know, on all the venues but it wasn't on Netflix or anything. It hasn't done very well. It surprised me because right in the, it's about shooting these Chinese steroids and then they turn into zombies. It's a pandemic. So, and we finished it in 2019. I thought, shoot, man, put this on Netflix and they'll go crazy. But it didn't happen. But people are slowly starting to get it. But did you know when you have a credit like that up on IMDb, people see that, they go, oh, look at what he just cut. The Midnight Man. It looks like C movie all the way. But it's funny and I'm proud of that movie. I mean, I'm looking forward to working with Max on this next one because, like, the guy is super talented. He has some really wonderful scripts. One that takes place in Italy, and trying to connect. We're in this period of time now in independent filmmaking here in America, where it's always been difficult to get the money you need to make a movie. Let's face it, everybody struggles to find the money, but now the economy is, and the crypto winter's here. And so, and the pandemic, stops the smaller pictures from shooting because you can't afford to shut down. But, we're all very positive. But the Manson brothers, I've never seen a more real sort of visceral zombie. The way they run at you and they bite and all that stuff was so real. The actors are just terrific. Randy Couture, Bas Rutten.
Jhon freaking loves the wrestling, so yes, he won.
When Bas Rutten's eating the head.
Yes. Yo
it's
creo
so gory. And all those little jokes, they're all very perverse and offbeat. You start listening to that, you go, oh my God, this is really kind of, yeah. No, I'm glad you guys like that.
No, in fact, I was starting like kind of like a marathon from Manson movies, and this is like a great ad because yes, we deal with the subject with Manson, but with zombies. And no, by the way, I think that the interview that you saw is with the amazing Stephen Tobolowsky from Californication.
That's it. Boy, he was good. Very solid.
Imagine these two guys. Well, okay, it was also Cesar from Mexico. He's not here. Imagine these two guys jobless because we had to live in the real world here in Colombia. In Colombia, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Turning on the computer and seeing at the other side people like Stephen Tobolowsky, like yourself, Alexander Berkeley, but also watching people because I love how you talk with passion about the so-called C movies because we have talked with all the people like the crazy ones now from the C movies. Man, they are passionate. They are like, we want to do our gore, we want to do our and it's like a new revival from the independent cinema, and the indie cinema started like that with zombies and Jhon.
People are passionate. They want to make these movies, and they can make these movies now. If you have a good idea, you can, and you see it. You see it happening, and there's a place for it. People also, there's independent filmmakers are okay with making this amount of money, but you can make this much, but sometimes those movies are no good to work on because all you do is spend your hours and hours and hours, and then it's a homogenized product because you're working for the factory. So, as you go along in your life and your career, you matriculate towards the place that serves you best, where you can. And so independent is good for a lot of people, They can really express themselves and feel free to do it,
As an independent
Jhon does with the short he had. It was very good.
Yo de acá decir que tu corto es muy bueno. As an independent filmmakers, we thank you.
Very good, man.
Pues démosle un fuerte aplauso. Tin, 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 tin.
No, by the way, I was telling Jhon, John, le confesaré lo que te dije ayer. I was watching yesterday all the short films that he was competing. And of course, he was like, man, be honest, don't say it like you're my friend. And man, I watched the 15 short films. For me, you are in the top 5 in this because I say it. And of course, I was, I appeared on the tents, on the agradecimientos, Andrés Carvajal. And I said, man, I know that you made it with no budget, but you hired a really great cinematographer and editor.
Yeah.
It's a friend of mine. You tell an history like what you sometimes people imagine Colombia and they say, oh, drugs, helicopters flying, and the cartel.
Yeah.
No, you made an history in a small city.
Yes.
For me, it was Jhon. And the soundtrack is from a friend of mine. It was a movie from Colombia that doesn't look like Colombia. You have to feel confident, of course. So if I say I love more this short film, it's like an opinion for myself, but for me, it's one of the best short films in this.
Yeah.
Say it, dile, Jhon.
You know why? Because Jhon, it's his own. It's his. You know what's going on with this character. You could feel and you see it happening. And it's. You're passionate and you stuck with your vision and you play it out. This is something Schrader does. Where no matter what it's doing, you committed to it and you stick with it. And that makes it special because there's pieces in that short that stuck with me. So there's talent in this man.
Yes, in fact.
And Colombia is a great place, and stick by your guns there too, because the cocaine era is over. And your country's coming back, and who knows, you may be the next superpower because certainly, Western civilization is going like this. It happened to England. It's great, the Western decline, man, and it's happening here. And somebody's next, and obviously it's China. But one day, your country's gonna be there.
It's crazy because I don't want to talk about politics, but this year will be elections. And you know that Colombia is the only country that it has to stay on the right side. And the leftists never came to the power, and somehow they will come this year, and people are scared. Yeah. And if they came, I want to see what happens because, oh man, that when Colombia do something like the left, it was the best time because the guerrilla end off, the Nobel Prize from the president.
Yeah.
And those were beautiful years because remember that in those years, we got, I don't like the Oscars, but we got an Oscar nomination with Embrace from the Serpent. We won some prizes and we got amazing filmmakers. Really amazing. I will translate that to Jhon because Jhon really needs to know that he's a talented man. And I asked the favor to share some of my short films to you because it will be an honor that you watch it.
Andres.
Jhon, lo tengo que traducir esto porque no, lo siento, tienes que saberlo. Lo que te dijo Tim exactamente de tu corto. Si vas a llorar, llora. Dijo, se nota que es, y te digo lo mismo, se nota que es un director que está muy seguro de sus personajes y él estaba como que, bueno, los personajes están ahí, vamos a ver qué sucede. Él como que, cumplieron. Y mire, lo que te acaba de decir un maestro. Hay escenas de ese corto que se quedaron en mi mente. Tienes tu primera reseña. I break the rules and I translate that because Jhon need to know that he
absolutely. It's his time now.
Yes.
His time.
His time. And I'm
both
glad
of your times. Stick together. You're stronger together. And I'm wishing the best for you both. Brilliant guys. Brilliant.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's crazy because I want to tell you a quick story before we.
Yeah, take your time.
I was living in far from my city. I'm a journalist. I was working on a. That page, but it was a horrible job. I was like borderline, even suicidal. I quit. I came back to my small town, Cucuta. And it was crazy because Jhon was one of the first person I saw because I got a boot. So I published that boot. And he went to the premiere like, oh man, you published a boot, take a picture. It was beautiful because later he told me, man, I want to invite you to my channel. You want to come? Okay, yes. And it's crazy because one of the first interview was Ari Ledman from Friday the 13th. It was, what? Are you kidding me? And then he called me, and it's beautiful because in this short film, he made another short film, and I am part. I got a little part in the script. So for me, it will be, I'm with Jhon with no money. Imagine when this guy start making big money. So it will be great work with him. Jhon, se lo dije.
I'm going to look forward to seeing what happens with you guys. And I have a feeling Jhon and you guys this is going to go bigger. And I think you'll be able to sell this as a program at some point. There's a lot of great information, and you'll find a way to keep expanding. Anything I could do from here, you let me know.
Thank God you tell him, because I will translate that, because I tell him, and Jhon, menos mal lo dijo Tim, porque yo te lo he dicho. Este canal va a crecer cuando tú vendas todo esto para un programa educativo. Te lo dijo Tim, y dijo Tim que te ayuda en lo que sea, pero hombre, terminemos esto con todo. No, men, hoy fue una lección de vida y tenemos a un amigazo, pero dale, ¿con qué quieres terminar? El saludo.
Sí, quisiera felicitarlo, gracias por este tip. También, bueno, tus redes sociales, qué se viene de tu próximo proyecto, y bueno, un saludo para el canal.
Jhon is speechless, but as an end, man, the camera is yours. Send a big hi to the channel, to Colombia. Tell us about your social media so people can follow you, and if you want to say something about what we can expect, or invite people to watch that amazing Manson Zombies movie, go ahead.
Yeah, watch the Manson Brother Midnight Zombie Massacre. It's hysterical. A lot of people haven't seen it. It came out in the pandemic, so you know. And yeah, I'm at timsilano.com. And I'm on Instagram, but timsilano.com has editing stuff, or if anybody ever wants to hire me, they can find me there. And I think we're doing Redundant Force in Las Vegas this summer. It's like a big action picture where a bunch of SEAL Team 6, they're kind of retired, and they're in the mall shopping, and then the terrorists come in. And so it breaks out, and that'll be how it starts. And it's a pretty good script. And, you know, Max has a way, he has a very visceral way to direct. And I've noticed this with actor directors that, like, I'm sure he started out, like I started out as a person that wanted to be an editor that wanted to direct. And Max started out as an actor that wanted to direct. So when I see now he's directing, I see how he is very efficient on that set, and he's able to work with his actors really well in a shorthand type of way. And I think that's a real asset when you're directing movies on a set. So, and everybody gets their own way, you know. And people, the directing styles are amazing.
And it's crazy because it's like he's following the school that made the previous director, the George Clooney. By the way, George Clooney as a director is a freaking
fabulous director. And
I don't understand the Academy, how they don't nominate Ben Affleck as a best supporting actor.
I know. Well, you know, the Academy is very, you know, it's so weird, man. Like, you know, it's like Leonardo DiCaprio. He's so good. They didn't nominate because they know eventually they're going to have to give him one, you know, because he's going to get so many. But yeah, it's weird how they treat. I want to look at someone like our boy Paul Schrader. You know, he you know, people have won Best Actor, you know, Affliction and stuff and screenplay, but he's kind of, they've never, you know, that's because Hollywood is they keep you like that sometimes, and but eventually you're going to have to, you know, bring him up there and give him that honorary, right?
Oh my God, Jhon, él quiere ver a Paul Schrader acá. Oh my God.
Imagine the clips.
Oh, please, if you can say, send us a hi from Paul Schrader from both, it will be great. But if he's here, oh man.
Oh yeah.
as a writer,
Oh,
it's
man.
like, the first thing I said in the university, and people will call me crazy because I studied journalism and I studied cinema.
Yeah.
I said that I want to be a screenwriter, and of course I mentioned Paul, and of course I mentioned Oliver Stone, and people were like, "What? Are you crazy?" And it's crazy because I was so young. I studied journalism because it's the most. They got like a class that was like cinema. Of course, I scored with tens, and I never quit to my dream to do movies. I did some short films, and I will never quit. Okay, I'm a journalist, I'm a writer, but I want to be a filmmaker, and I will do it.
Journalism, great way to learn because you're studying. You learn to write a story and to follow, and you learn to study stories. That's an important thing. It's just because movie making, storytelling. In the end, we just telling a story visually and as poetically as possible.
And I freaking love what he did with Mishima. Okay,
Oh.
Man, if you can say, if you can send this, and Jhon, por favor, edita esto rápido porque se lo enviará por Spider. If you can send this to Paul, this interview, and if we can have it here,
I will.
I will die peaceful. I don't know if this channel will win money, but it will be. Oh man! But you made a dream come true from us, but we will take like a picture so we can share to the social media. But I want to show you my t-shirt. I put it just from homage from The Exorcist.
Oh,
it was like an
that's brilliant.
Yes, it's from a metal band from my city. Oh man, but it's called Son of Parasite. But man, please give us your best smile. I'm speechless, and I'm so thankful with life to speak with you.
Thank you, Andres, Jhon.
Okay.
Thank you. You're special guys. We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch, right?
Yes. Jhon, que nunca pierdas el contacto contigo.
Fantastic.
No.
And I'll send it to Schrader. He's shooting a picture now in New Orleans. I'll send it.
What? Okay.
Take care of yourselves.
Thank you, man.
Okay, guys, be good.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.